Alright guys, welcome back to Elden Ring. Well, we've come to the point of this walkthrough where we can go back to the beginning of the game and start working our way towards the end of the game, doing all the content. That includes all of the caves, catacombs, hero dungeons, and field bosses in a particular region. In addition, we're also going to be doing any camps that we missed or any graces that we didn't touch. So our goal today is to mainly focus on getting the vast majority of Limgrave done, and then we're going to start on doing some of the Weeping Peninsula. I didn't kill the tree sentinel in this episode, but we'll do it in the beginning of the next episode. There'll be a little bit of loose ends to tie up, but we're going to go with our fire build here for our tiers. For weapons, we're only going to use the jellyfish shield. We're doing our pot setup, so we just need the jellyfish shield really, and the talismans that are best for pot throwing. We're going to this spot right here on the map. This is a Crucible Knight. Definitely the hardest field boss in Limgrave, but with our build and our level, this is going to be a cakewalk. Alternatively, you could use the Glintstone Chris to pretty much probably one-shot this guy, but I'm trying to be a little different. I'm going to start using different weapons because we're in the early game. We don't need to use the very best of what we have, so we're going to be mainly using some of the beginning weapons in this episode. Surely we're going to use the Giant's Flame Pot, which is not an early game pot, but we're going to use it here. It only takes 3 throws with our buffs to take out the Crucible Knight, as long as he doesn't have his shield up. But to be honest, he's always pretty much on the attack, and if you hit him with it when his shield is down, it's only going to take 3 shots total. Crucible Knights are not the most agile enemy, so you can pretty much shoot them with the Glintstone Chris or use the Black Blade weapon art, which will debuff them. Because of that very long animation, enemies can see it coming, but the Crucible Knight, they're just going to stand there and take it. So we're just going to buff here, and it's only going to take 3 shots with our Giant's Flame Pot here. You just throw a couple right off the bat and just wait for your chance to get a 3rd shot in. He will come at you quite often, but like I said, it shouldn't last very long. And that's it. You'll get another Crucible spell, the aspects of the Crucible tail here. Now we're going to go head to Murkwater Catacombs. Now, we briefly visited this area very early on, but we didn't explore the dungeon. We just got the grace. Now, bear in mind, the dungeon is extremely easy and extremely short, so we're not going to need much to get through this. But we're going to keep our pot build because the boss will be able to 2-shot him with the pot setup that we have currently. But we're going to go to the Agial Lake side of Grace, the south side. And we're going to go ahead and get some of our main things that we're going to need. We need the Nox Flowing Sword and the Arbalest. We'll be using the Arbalest quite a bit in this episode. And we want both of the arrow talismans. Of course, you could steamroll these dungeons any way you want, but I'm still going for optimal, no damage runs here. So we're going to use one of the regular fire pots. Now, this is important if you want to do this without getting hit, because there's an annoying imp that will come down on you, and if you use a volcano pot, it doesn't always kill him outright, but if you use a regular fire pot, it will always kill him no matter what. It's a burst fire damage as opposed to damage over time. Now that spot on the map, that is a grace that I haven't touched yet. So on our way to Murkwater Catacombs, we're just going to hit that grace, and then we'll go to the catacombs. Because earlier, I've already hit that grace in the catacombs. I could just go ahead and go straight to the catacombs, but I figured, why not hit the grace along the way? Like I said, we're trying to do as much as we possibly can, although I'm still not sure I'm going to be able to do absolutely everything in this game, but I'm certainly going to try. Now, something nice about this grace that we're about to touch is there is a herba that spawns nearby, so this is an excellent early game farming spot for herba if you need to get some. Now, you could at this point go ahead and fast travel to Murkwater Catacombs, but instead we're going to come up here. I'm just going to show you the way to do it the conventional way, because there's a spirit spring right here that'll take you down safely, because otherwise you're going to take fall damage. And of course you can collect some mushrooms along the way. Now, one thing about Imp Catacombs is they are very good at ambushing you. They're very clever. They're very hard to spot sometimes. So right here, we're just going to pick off a couple with our Arbalist. Then we'll get our Nox Flowing Sword out and kill this sneaky one that's ready to ambush us right here behind the wall. There's 2 more imps here, but there's also a trap here. Just don't step on the plate. You can take out these 2 imps. Now this one's going to require a volcano pot if you don't want to take damage. Stay right here and throw one at this spot right here and it should kill him. Otherwise he's just going to come out and hit you. And they're very fast and they will hit you very easily. They have great range with their jump attacks. I'm going to pull this lever. This will open up the boss room. But we're not quite done yet. There are 3 more imps. We're going to kill these 2, and then the one that I told you is very hard to kill without taking a hit. He always seems to hit you. Just get a regular fire pot here and just throw one right here. Don't go too far into the room or he will hit you. Now for the boss. It's only going to take 2 pots, our giant flame pots, with our buffs to take this guy out. He's not even going to get a chance to hit us. Just wait. Get close enough to just throw a couple. He's just going to charge you, so he's got 0 chance to even get close to damaging you. Now we're going to Stormfoot Catacombs. This area is off to the west side of Limgrave, west from the Church of Ella. So we're going to go ahead and go to the Church of Ella. And head west. But before we do that, let's go ahead and make some minor adjustments here. We'll need Margit's Shackle for a trap. And we're going to put a mark on the map right there. That is the entrance to the catacombs. Along the way, there is a Trina's Lily we want to pick up. Anytime there's Trina's Lilies about, you definitely want to pick them up. They're going to come in handy for the end game. Just drop down here and get this one. Stormfoot Catacombs is more of the same, just more imps. So we'll be able to one-shot them for the most part with our Arbalest. That's why we wanted to use it with our buffs, with our talismans here. But I think we're going to need a little bit of Golden Vow to help us take out one in particular that's rather tanky. This is also your introduction to fire traps, which is where we're using Margit's Shackle. Right here, there is an imp right behind the chair, and he's just sitting there. Again, we're going to use the Nox Flowing Sword to take out our other imp here. Always looking to ambush. There's always more than one. If you see one in a room, you can bet that there's one on the ceiling or a wall that's going to come from behind or something like that. Now right here, we can actually do something a little cheeky here. There are a couple of levels here. We're just going to shoot this guy here, but there's another one off to the right here. But even further up is another one, but you have to aim just right. This is too high. I'm going to demonstrate why you can't shoot him from here. It's because of that pillar. So you'll see you can't hit him from here, so you have to go a little bit underneath. We'll do it one more time to show you. Nope, you got to go underneath it. And it doesn't even look like you can shoot this imp, but you can. And it's the same way for the left side. This just makes it easier later on where you don't have to deal with multiple imps. Now here you just want to activate Margit's Shackle. That will deal with the fire trap. Now this cheeky little imp here will follow you if you don't take him out. And your prattling pate is right here. This is a really dangerous spot early in the game. These guys will always kill you. There's multiple imps here. There's 2 on the wall there, but there's also additional imps on each side of the room here. So you want to kill this guy and this guy. And there's yet another one on the right side. Now the top floor is already clear because we shot them already. Now if you didn't shoot the imps earlier, as soon as you get to the top of the ladder here, you can use Nox's Flowing Sword's Flowing Form to kill the one that's hiding to the left there. Now right here, you just want to wait until this imp comes off the wall and does his attack. Otherwise, it won't hit him in the head. And then right here, just use Nox's Flowing Sword again, and all of the imps are dead. Now we can activate the switch to the boss. Just do a slow walk off here, activate the lever. Now this boss is an Erd Tree Burial Dog. I hate these things. I really do. And we're going to be dealing with a couple of them in this episode. But we're going to use a different strategy here. This weapon, guys, is one of the best weapons in the game. Grafted Dragon. Oh my god, guys. This thing, I didn't realize how good it was. It's good for a lot of things, but you'll see me use it quite a bit going forward. We have it at a +9 as well. It's going to melt pretty much anything in its path. We'll one-shot this guy easily. All we have to do is get one charge attack on him with our buffs, and it's game over. Mainly you just want to get behind him. Just wait for a chance to get behind him. His attacks are slow, but they come out fast. Good night. You're going to love this weapon by the end of this episode, I'm telling you. We're going to be using it, like I said, quite a bit. Now it's time to go to Agile Lake and take out the dragon. Now, this is the dragon that you would probably first encounter in the game. We didn't encounter it earlier. We've already killed a couple of dragons, but this is one of the easier ones. And we're going to use the same strategy as we did before. It's just too easy. I'm pretty much not going to deviate from the dragon killing strategies. Regular Uchi Katana. We're also going to put on the Lightning Falchion with the Thunderbolt Ash of War. This is for enemies within the lake. Of course, we're going to need the Dragon Wound Grease, and I always like to do some pickled turtleneck. Stamina is always king when fighting the dragons. Of course, you want the Lance Talisman because you're going to be on horseback, and the Blood Exaltation. This is pretty much your go-to for killing dragons. Well, when you can use Torrent anyway. Now the dragon is right here on the map. We're going to go ahead and mark him. Right here. That's where he's going to spawn. You'll see a group of enemies near a bonfire. You'll know you're in the right spot. You can also summon Uria for this if in the early game. We've already completed his quest, however, for the most part. So we can't summon him because he's dead already. And there's the bonfire. We're just going to go ahead and buff here. You don't want to get too close because the dragon will swoop in and not give you time to buff. Again, once the camera changes during the dragon fights, just go ahead and get away from the dragon. This is pretty much any dragon fight, really. If you see the camera change, you know something's bad is about to happen. But it's usually just 3 swipes, regenerate your stamina, hit him 3 more times. He won't last long, not with all these buffs. There's the camera change. You know he's about to do something, so we go away. Try to get a headshot if you can. It takes more damage off of dragons when you do that. And that's it. Easy peasy. Now, there's some more Trina's lilies in this lake, but they're hidden. But we're going to go ahead and get them now. It's guarded by a crab, but we can kill him easily with the lightning falchion using the Thunderbolt Ashabor. Plus, the crab is in water. You'll do even more damage when enemies are in water if you're using lightning. So, if it's even if it's raining, you'll get more damage buffs from just using a lightning weapon. There are 3 Trina's lilies here. Excellent. Now we're going to go to the Limgrave Tunnels. This is one of the first areas you should have came, but we didn't enter this area from the get-go. We went to other areas. But this is a good early game source for somber smithing stone 1s, regular smithing stone 1s. But we're not going to go down the shaft here. We got enough materials. We don't need to do that. But remember, whenever you go down the shaft in these tunnels, there's always some areas that you can drop down and get some upgrade materials. We don't need to do anything crazy here. All the enemies are going to die to strike damage very easily. So our basic whip will be fine. We do want to have the beast torch though, because there are rats about. And we're going to use the weakest of all crossbows, because we're only going to need the fire bone bolts. The strength of the crossbow will not matter. So we're going to give the lowest of the low, the worst weapon in the game, which has been ranked the lowest weapon in the game, the soldier's crossbow. We're going to give it a whirl here. Like I said, we just need it for the fire bone bolts. So damage doesn't matter. Strike damage is the best way to kill these enemies in any tunnel, really. So if you're in the early game, any kind of strike weapons will do very nicely. And whips do strike damage, so more than sufficient enough. I'm going to go ahead and get our torch out because there are rats about. One down here. We're going to take this next lift all the way down because there's some loot at the bottom, and then we're going to go to the boss. Again, you can go down the shafts if you want to. Right down there, that's the way to the boss, but we're going to go all the way down. There's a couple of dogs about, so having the beast torch out is optimal. Strike damage for the win. That's going to wrap it up down here. Now, you've seen me do this before, but whenever you see these workers, these tunnel workers, if they have glowing stones in their backpack, all you have to do is hit them with any kind of fire damage, and they will explode and instantly die, and kill anything around them too. And this is why we have the fire bone bolts on tap. This one right here, easy victim. There's a guy on patrol to the right. Now, if you play your cards right here, you can get 2 for 1. I didn't wait long enough, so this guy didn't quite die, but he took a lot of damage. One more. So satisfying. On to the boss. And again, we're going to use our new favorite weapon, the Grafted Dragon. This will one-shot the boss with ease. We pretty much don't even have to put any buffs on, but I'm going to do it anyway for overkill. This is also a very good weapon to kill trolls. Or anything that is weak to fire damage, especially those flowers that do poison damage to you. They're so tanky, but with this, it'll two-shot them most of the time. Anything else you use, it'll take a lot more hits. We're just going to run in, get under his legs, and use your bear witness one time, and it's game over. Well, he didn't put up much of a fight, did he? Well, we get the War Medallion. Now, this War Medallion is pretty good for certain Ash of Wars. We'll get to that later. Our next destination. Well, we're going to go kill some enemies in the field here because there's an Ash of War we didn't get. It's the Unsheath Ash of War, but we had that on our katana already. We're going to go steal one from a crab. And normally when you go in here to try to get it, the crab will ambush you, but with our Thunderbolt Ash of War, it's going to be too easy. We can kill the scarab without getting close to it. Otherwise, you will get attacked by the crab coming from underneath. And he's right here. You don't have to get too close. And there's your Unsheath. Really good Ash of War. One of the best in the early game. Actually, for the whole game. And this is also, like I said, if you want to kill crabs, this is an easy way to kill them with the Thunderbolt Ash of War. So you don't have to do the ground slam anymore if you don't want to. Now, let's go to the War Master Shack side of Grace here. And we are going to go take out a camp we didn't do earlier. We're going to need a better crossbow for this one, though. We're going to get the Arbalist back out, get our arrow talismans back out, because we're going to be playing some Sniper Elite here. We're just going to snipe all the enemies from above, and they can't do anything. Now, a reason you'd want to come to this camp in the early game is if you couldn't get a brass shield to drop from the enemies early on, you'd want to get a 100 block shield. You need to come over here, and there's a guaranteed one. We're also going to pick up a lance, where we just marked on the map there. This is good because this also gives us a height advantage to kill all the enemies from above, and they can't do anything. We will have to buff for one enemy in particular if we want to one-shot him with the Arbalist. Of course, we could use the Jar Cannon, but it's not necessary. We do want to one-shot all the enemies, though. Right here, just jump onto this structure, and you'll get your lance. And from here, we can one-shot all the enemies. We just use Golden Vow. We don't need to use Howl of Shabiri, but I'm going to do it anyway. Now what you want to do is aim for the guy in the middle here, surrounded by the two dogs, and take him out first. He's got the most health out of all the enemies. Then we can just kill all the dogs because they're annoying. And just kill anything you can see. Sometimes you can't get a good shot, as you can see. If they're moving, you're pretty much not going to hit them. Just wait for them to stop moving if you want to kill them in one shot. There's one more dog off in the distance here. I'm going to make sure you kill him. He's way out there. He's right there. You can still lock onto him. The game is so generous with the lock on in this guy, I swear. We want to drop down here, and there's a few more enemies we're going to snipe, and this camp will be completely clear. Another dog, and two more enemies. Well, three more enemies. Alright, we're clear now. You'll also get an Exalted Flesh in the camp as well. But the main reason, like I said, is the shield. You'd want to get the shield early on. Would be your main reason to come here. And it's in this chest right here. Good alternative if you can't get the brass shield. And the exalted flesh. Now, we're going to go kill another field boss. And another one shot. We'll go back to War Master Shack. And we're going to mark place on the map right here. That's our next boss. Very close to the War Master Shack. It's another Deathbird. And he has no chance whatsoever because we have holy pots and we have mini buffs which will one-shot him. All we need is one pot, but I'm just going to craft two just in case I miss. But as long as you lock onto the head and you throw it as soon as he lands, you'll never miss. We're going to overbuff our stats here again using the holy tier in our physic and the scorpion charm, sacred scorpion charm. And like I said, it's only going to take one shot. One throw with the holy pot. Like I said, we're just going to put on two. And of course, it needs to be nighttime for this Deathbird to spawn. We don't even need the jellyfish shield for this one. More than enough buffs. Just lock onto the head as soon as he lands, throw a pot, and it's over. Well, these boss fights are so exciting right now. Don't worry, it'll get better. We'll get the equivalent of the blue Tearstone ring from Dark Souls for that. Now, we're going to a rather difficult dungeon for early game players. I did this right off the bat when I started the game, and I regretted it very much, because this is a pretty difficult dungeon. Although it's not necessary, I'm going to put on the Raptor Talons because I have put the Raptor of the Mist Ash of War on it appropriately. You're going to want both arrow talismans, pretty much, and the jar cannon and the Nox flowing sword for the first part here. And I'm going to put on some lightning pots for later. Right now, this is all we need. Put a few more lightning pots. Now, the Raptor of the Mist Ash of War has a very nice avoidance maneuver that's going to be very useful for these kind of dungeons. These chariot dungeons, normally you have to look for cover, and it's quite annoying, but with the Raptor of the Mist's Ash of War, you could just stand there and take it. If you do it right, all you have to do is hit left trigger and then hit the A button right afterwards, right when it's about to hit you. And it's pretty generous, the timing here. I'm going to demonstrate it just to show you. But you don't even need to use it in this first dungeon. You can just walk all the way down, run. But I'm going to take it easy, just do a nice little stroll here. And I'm going to demonstrate. So you just hit left trigger and then A just before it hits you. And you'll avoid the attack entirely. You want to take out this guy. You don't even need to use it this time. Just run down and take the left side. You don't want to go to the right because this guy will come from behind. But you do want to go ahead and turn around quickly so he doesn't shoot you. Now, we want to use Golden Vow here. We don't have to use any more buffs, but we do need the jar cannon. Come over here and get the lock on this guy and kill him now because he'll give you trouble later. We're just going to wait for this one to pass again. And when he goes up the hill, we don't need to use the Ash of War anymore. We can just go all the way to our destination. Just keep running. Of course, if you do feel the need, you can duck into a hole here, or you can use the Ash of War again. But good practice is to turn the camera around so you can see the chariot coming. This will be good for future dungeons. But you want to drop off right here specifically, and you want to get this imp's attention and use the cover and just use the Nox Flowing Sword to take him out, and then use the Jar Cannon to take the next one out. Now just use Margit's Shackle to get rid of the trap. And right here by this candlestick, use your Nox Flowing Sword to take out that imp. Now to the left, there is an imp right here in front of you. Take him out. There's one more imp that's hidden, and he's not really easy to get to. You'll have to just run into the room and wait till he drops down, and then just get ready to shoot him. Now this next area is very tricky, but we're going to deal with it. There are 2 grafted scions in this next room. It's a trap. So the game wants you to see this shiny thing in this altar area and say, let me go grab that real quick. But you know better. You've played Dark Souls games. You know what's about to happen. So there are not 1 but 2, like I said, grafted scions here. There's one on the ceiling there. The game wants you to go over there and just grab the item, and you're going to get attacked by both of them. They're going to sandwich you. So how do we deal with this? Well, we have the Jar Cannon, so we're going to knock it down. But the best thing to do with these grafted scions is to use darkness again. Darkness is your friend in this game, I'm telling you. It's one of the best spells in the game, and it works on grafted scions. So all you have to do is cast it when they're coming at you, and they'll just stand there and let you hit them. We're just going to shoot one off the ceiling here. We're going to go about halfway down the bridge, and then cast darkness. Trust me, it'll come at you. And then just finish it off with 1 flowing form, because grafted scions' #1 weakness is slashing damage, which the Nox Flowing Sword does very well. Now, the best thing to do is just watch this one come down and cast darkness, back up, hit him once, then back up again, get ready to cast darkness one more time. Just keep rolling backwards until the influence has taken effect, and that's it. Easy peasy. And you'll get the Erd Tree's favor. Now for a very annoying part of this dungeon. If you want the Erd Tree Great Bow, you're going to have to do something pretty tricky, and you only have 3 attempts that you can do it at a time. So this is another reason you wanted to take out that guy up on the ledge, because he's an annoying enemy and he can knock you off, and then the chariot will finish you off. But you'll need to shoot these pots that are hanging off the ceiling, but you have to shoot them in just the right time so that it will destroy the chariot, and then you don't have to deal with the chariot anymore. But it's very specific, and I'll try to explain it as best I can. First, you need to get the chariot to go up and down this hallway right here. And sometimes it's a little stubborn, and you see it won't do it right away. It's just going to keep going back and forth for some reason. But we're going to go ahead and get Arbalest out. You need an accurate crossbow or bow here. Something with decent range, accuracy. You can see it just keeps going back and forth. But once it starts going down this hallway, then you can start prepping. And it still doesn't want to do it. Now it's going to do it. Okay, so once it starts going down there, you can see these 3 pots are hanging here. You want to aim exactly in the middle. Once you see the screen shake, count 1 second and then shoot. It'll work every time. Just wait for the screen to shake. 1 second, shoot. Now you don't have to deal with this annoying chariot anymore. There's only a few enemies left on the way to the boss. Unfortunately, these are some annoying enemies if you're trying to go for no damage runs. Also, we're going to pick up a seal that's one of the best seals in the game if you're going for dragon incantations. Which we're not, but it's up here. But first, you want to take out the enemies. We're going to use a Golden Vow buff so we can one-shot these guys with Arbalest. Just wait till they spawn and shoot them. And then we can use our Nox Flowing Sword to kill the one that spawns to the right. And now we're going to get Mesricord out because we're going to be doing some backstabbing here. You don't need to do anything special here. No buffs or anything except for the Royal's Knight's Resolve, so you can one-shot this guy. Just use it here and just run up behind him. He takes a while to get ready, so just use that opportunity and kill him. He'll drop the Dragon Communion seal. There's only a few more groups of enemies on the way to the boss. We're going to use lightning pots to take them out, and the Nox Flowing Sword. Now the boss is another one of those ultra-rated tree spirits. We've only killed one so far. We'll see several of those throughout our adventure. But we're going to use our new favorite weapon to take it out. It'll take it out in pretty much one shot. You might have to do it twice, but the lava that you spill on the ground will pretty much damage it over time as well. You can just use Nox Flowing Sword to take these two out. And right here, I just like to use lightning pots from a distance because there's some annoying enemies here that come at you. But the lightning pots will one-shot everybody. Well, if they had their shield up, it might take 2 shots. And that's it. Get ready for the boss. All you have to do is wait for the boss to spit out some fire, lightning, or whatever. I'm not sure what kind of element it's shooting, but all you have to do is just wait for your opportunity and use the Bear Witness one time, and it will pretty much kill it outright. It won't, and then it'll go into its second form, but it probably won't even get a chance to start doing it. And you can use that opportunity to finish it off. But we do want to get the Godfrey icon for this one, and the Fire Talisman, of course. And we're going to use both buffs and our Physics Flask as well. We want as much fire damage as possible, because that is what these enemies are weak to the most. Again, these things flail about so weirdly, it's hard to really guesstimate what they're going to do. But the best thing to do is wait for them to do this right here. And you can just use this one time, and it's pretty much going to take him out instantly. Now at this point, I should have taken out the Tree Sentinel, but I forgot about him. We'll do him in the next episode. We're going to the Weeping Peninsula right now. We're going to start Irina's quest line. So we're going to go to the Bridge of Sacrifice and talk to her. Since I've played Dark Souls 3, I just can't forget about Irina in Dark Souls 3. That's pretty much the same here.
The servants are fully since come. I fear it's no least. Would you mind my
Exhaust her dialogue, get the letter.
Thank you. Then please deliver it to my. Please, he can be stubborn.
Now we're going to go to this grace because we have a date with another Knight's Calvary, but this one is going to die so fast because we have the bleed build now with the 2 falchions and seppuku. It's absolutely going to annihilate this boss. And we have the Claw Talisman as well, because the jumping attacks do a surprising amount of damage straight away. And opening with an attack like this is pretty devastating to an enemy that's weak to bleed. We're going to go ahead and put on another charge in our flask, since we just got a golden seed from killing that ulcerated tree spirit. We're also going to put on some lightning for later. But we need to make it nighttime. But I'm going to go ahead and show you. The Knight's Calvary, we go down this path right here. We're going to run up on him. We're going to jump attack using our dual falchions after doing the seppuku. And it will die in about 2 seconds. And then we can just critical attack him when he's on the ground, and that's a wrap. So just go ahead, pass the time. I do recommend putting on Crepus Vial here, or Assassin's Gambit, something where it can't hear you coming. We're just going to go ahead and buff everything. Again, you want to start with the offhand, then go to your main hand, heal up, and run up on him. You want to target this horse. Do not target the knight. You want to kill the horse so that he falls on his back. Jump attack first, and it's down, critical, and it's over. It just doesn't get any easier than that, I don't think. Now we're going to make our way to the Impaler's Catacombs. This is where we went to get a Grave Glovewort 2 in the early game. We're going to go ahead and get everything we need for the dungeon. Regular whip, arbalest again. We use one of the arrow talismans. We also going to use the lightning scorpion charm. And some, well, we're not going to use the pots, I don't think. I had those as backup. You'll need the crystal darts for sure. You definitely want the crystal darts for this next part. It's just going to make it too easy. I'm going to go to the Impaler's Catacombs. Very easy dungeon, but the boss is not so easy. But we're going to make it easy. This first imp's just going to crawl up here. Just take him out. And you can just run up on this guy. You can jump over his attacks. Whip him. Again, they're weak to strike damage, so the whip is a very good weapon. We're going to buff here. There's some tanky imps here, so we want to use the arbalest to one-shot them. So when we come down here, there's one on the wall. There's one that's going to drop down as well. He'll start coming at you. One on the wall here. There's one on the ceiling. And we're going to use Electrify Armament here, because there are a lot of putrid corpses down here. They infinitely respawn. You just want to make the trap go up and drop down here. But just to make it easier for ourselves, we're going to use lightning because we're in water, and it will take most of these guys out and one-shot them. It won't do it unless you have the lightning. I tried it with the regular whip, and it didn't one-shot them without the lightning, so that extra water damage that you get from the lightning, nice. You get another prattling pate, and as soon as you come over here, a lot of them are going to spawn right in front of you, but one or two, always take them out. But they will infinitely respawn, like I said. So don't hang around here for too long. There's one annoying imp that's going to jump out at you right here. He will surprise you. Just lure him out, because he'll hit you otherwise. But first we want to pull this lever. The imp in question is just around the corner. And if you just run in there, he's going to hit you. Just draw him out. Now let's talk about the boss, because this guy is a pain in the butt. But like I said, we're in the business to make this easy. So you'll need crystal darts, and you'll need to buff. We could go with the grafted dragon, but instead we're going to go with the ball, the heavy ball here. It doesn't matter what you use. I mean, this guy's going to go down quickly, because anything with strike damage, this guy's going to go down quick. The problem is the imps. There are 4 of them in this room. So we have to deal with the imps first. But you also want to hit the boss with at least 1 crystal dart, so you can one-shot him with 1 attack from the heavy ball. But the imps are the first priority. So right off the bat, lock onto the imps and start throwing crystal darts. Don't stop. It only usually takes 2 of them. You should be able to take all of them out. You might have to dodge 1 attack or 2, but after that, it's pretty much a wrap. I had 1 left here, so I had to avoid him. But the crystal darts will take them out quickly. They're faster than your arbalest or anything. 1 charge attack and it's over. The imps were the main boss in that one. Now we're going to go to the south of the Lookout Tower side of Grace, and we're going to take out this tower area and get the hand ballista Now this is a good alternative to the jar cannon. It's not as good as the jar cannon in my opinion, especially since we have the jar cannon at +9 right now. So this thing is not going to go in our arsenal anytime soon. But we're going to go with the Beast Torch because of dogs, Arbalest. We'll need the Dagger Talisman and the Misericord. And we don't want to make any noise, so we're just going to go with the Crepus Vial. And we're going to need 1 sleep pot for the boss coming up. We're actually prepping for a couple of areas here. But this is all we're going to need for the next 2 areas we do, which is this tower and the boss coming up. But there's the mark on the map. We're just going to head it to the area. You don't need to deal with all these flowers. They're just going to waste your time and take your resources. So just go to the far left, take out the 3 enemies by the campfire, and that's pretty much it. But if you go into the middle area, you're going to have to deal with all those flowers, and it's just not worth it. Those enemies there, and there's 1 dog here. There's 1 enemy here. You can shoot him in the head. And there's 1 more at the very top, guarding the hand ballista. We'll just attack him from behind. Again, the hand ballista is really good early game if you can't get to Altus Plateau and get the jar cannon. And it's a bit lighter than the jar cannon as well. And I think it reloads slightly faster, but I'm not 100% sure. Now, we're going to go to this area on the map, not too far from our position. This is a cave that's hidden. If you hit one of those glowing trees, it'll show you an image of a guy walking around, and it'll show you where it is. But there's no need for that since we already know where it is. There's only 1 real threat in this cave, and that is the Rune Bear. But we have the ultimate kryptonite for rune bears now. We have the ability to cause sleep. Bears are weak to sleep. All you have to do is put a bear to sleep, do a critical attack, and it's pretty much game over. And that's what we're going to do to this rune bear in particular. Now, there are rune bears that have a lot more health. And I'm already thinking about the one in Caelid that has like 18,000 health. We'll deal with him later. I have another strategy for him. But for this one, we're just going to throw 1 sleep pot, use Royal Knight's Resolve, and that's a wrap. But right here, you just want to go down this path. In this cave right here to the left. Make sure you have the Beast Torch here because there are a lot of rats in this cave. And there's a early trap here. If you just run in, you'll fall straight through the floor. And you'll be face to face with a mama rat and all her babies. Not a good predicament to be in. We're also going to put on the lantern for even more light. But the Beast Torch is a must. You can just see that this floor doesn't look very safe. But with the Beast Torch, you can just fall through the floor if you want to. But the only thing on the way down here are rats. And with the Beast Torch, they're not going to do anything. Like I said, the real threat is the Rune Bear, and we already have the solution for him. 2 rats here. And here's where you would fall through the floor with the mama rat and all her babies. Remember, these rats always have a chance to drop rune arcs, which is always nice. Now for the boss. Well, after these 2 rats. But yeah, the boss, like I said, 1 sleep pot, but you have to throw it at the right angle and everything. We'll do that right here. if you run in, you may not get the throw exactly, and you don't want to waste sleep pots. They're an extremely valuable resource. So what you want to do is just do exactly what I do here with the positioning. We're going to buff, of course, because we want to get the maximum out of our dagger. But with the Dagger Talisman and the Royal Knight's Resolve, this Rune Bear doesn't stand a chance. So you're just going to come about right here, throw one sleep pot. It'll put him to sleep immediately. Royal Knight's Resolve, and one critical. And that's it. There is a Trina's Lily here to replace the sleep pot we just threw. Now we're going to go to the Demi-Human forest area. It's like a ruins area in the forest. And we'll kill like a little mini boss, which is one of those Demi-Human queens, but it will one-shot her. It's nothing with what we got. And then we're going to go to another catacombs, and that'll be the episode. There's a well-hidden item in this next area called the Shield of Guilty. A lot of people miss this thing. But it's in this ruins over here. But right here's where we want to go, because we're going to come from the boss from behind. And we'll use the Flame Dance with our whip. And we'll one-shot not only the boss, but all the enemies around her. Now, I don't recommend doing this area at night, because these demi-humans with the red eyes will follow you all the way to the boss and cause problems. So they're more passive in the daytime. But this is still a formality. We're going to one-shot this enemy pretty much. One attack from our Flame Dance, and all the enemies around her and her as well will go down. We're not even buffing here. This is the perfect attack to use because it kills all the enemies around her as well. We'll get the staff and a spell. All the enemies will cower in defeat. You can kill them if you want. I'm going to show a little bit of mercy here. Now, the Shield of the Guilty. Very well hidden item in this game. But it's right over here. You'll have to use Torrent to jump over this little area right here. This is a shield that does bleed damage. But don't expect much else out of it. I like the design though. Now we're going to head to that direction right there. We're going to hit up that church and get another one of our painting rewards. The Artist Spectre will spawn in that spot that I marked on the map. We'll also, like I said, get that church to get another grace and another sacred tear. And then we'll head to the catacombs, and that'll be the episode. In the next episode, we'll finish up Limgrave and the Weeping Peninsula, and we'll go from there. We're pretty much just knocking out these areas now. Now, there are some undead that will spawn in this area, so be careful. We are going to need to get that as well. You just use Flame Dance here for fun. Just to take out groups of enemies. I love this whip. The Church of Pilgrimage. You are going to want to put on holy damage here. No doubt about it. We need it for this area coming up and for this graveyard coming up as well. You will definitely need the Order's Blade. But we're also going to need the Sacred Cestus that we made earlier. This is a must for the boss fight. We're going to put on a regular whip and the Sacred Cestus. I'm just putting on the FP regeneration stuff for fun, not necessary. But you are going to want holy damage for sure. You don't really need the pot. I was just using that because there was an annoying enemy that I was having trouble with. You also want the Margit Shackle. But yeah, the pots are still a good idea because there's a bunch of skeletons that come at you from a hallway. You can just funnel them in and just start throwing pots if you want to. The whip still does good as well. But here we're going to take out this first skeleton here in the graveyard. And we're going to go get our reward from the artist. Right here. There's a shield in the graveyard too, don't forget, and some bleed grease. Here's where they spawn right next to the bleed grease. There's one here and one here. I forgot the shield. It's a gilded shield in the graveyard, and I missed it. We'll get it in the next episode. We just want to follow this path to get to the next area, the catacombs. If you can't find the area, it's just where these jellyfish are. Tombsward Catacombs. These catacombs are chock full of skeletons, so you'll definitely want holy damage, like I said. And you'll have to deal with a cemetery shade at the end, which is why we need the cestus. You already seen us kill one before using the sacred cestus, and we're going to do the same thing again. Just make sure to take out these skeletons. They don't follow you. One shot all these skeletons. There's nothing to it. You just got to know where they spawn at because they're sneaky. There's one right here as well. If you just listen and make sure if they're spawning, you hear anything, just make sure you kill them all. One's going to spawn right here. And there's two archer skeletons here. You'll use Margit Shackle here. And also make sure you reactivate your buff, because you'll be dealing with a lot of skeletons that you'll have to kill twice. And there are a bunch of them coming up. There's one that spawns right here, behind the lift. And I recommend taking the lift to kill this particular skeleton because he's annoying. And he'll start throwing pots at you from above. This one right here. Just wait till he spawns and kill him. Here's where you might need the pots, the holy pots. There's going to be a bunch of skeletons that spawn in this room, and they will all charge you. They have pretty surprising range for their attacks. So what you want to do is just kind of start the party and then run out. Probably don't need to use the pots. It's just a nice alternative if you're struggling with these skeletons. But with Order's Blade, cakewalk. Another Prattling Pate. We'll just activate the lift again. Just keep reactivating your buff. I don't think there's a skeleton in this room. Nope. But there's going to be some that spawn in here. There's one right ahead of you and one behind you. We'll just pull the lever and make our way to the cemetery shade. Now, all you have to really do to kill the cemetery shade is to get one golden slam to hit him once, solidly. You get one golden slam with the buffs and all the talismans and the crystal tier that we have, he's going to go down in one shot. He's so weak to holy damage, it's unbelievable. So, just one golden slam with the Sacred Cestus, and it's going to go down, trust me. But you might, like I said, right here, I had to draw him out a little bit. And I actually missed on my first golden slam, but I was able to get him on the next one. We're going to buff as usual, just because. And we have the Holy Shrouding Crystal tier as well, so this is going to be a cakewalk. All you have to do is, like I said, just hit him once. I'm trying to draw out his attack, but I don't know how that didn't hit him. I mean, it seemed like it did. We'll get him this time, though. Golden Slam for the win, and that's it. Lutil the Headless. I've heard good things about that Ash, but we're not going to use it. Alright, guys, that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one.